Welcome to Country Squire Radio. I'm Bo.
And I'm John David.
JD.
Hey, Bo. Good evening, man.
Man, good evening to you, sir. How you doing tonight?
You know, I'm doing well. It's it's finally starting to feel like autumn, and
yeah.
You know, so we're here. We're smoking a lot of pipes now. Football's in the air, and yeah. And as a good Mississippi State fan, I've become I've gone from pulling for the Bulldogs to pulling for the Dallas Cowboys actually now.
Is that because the Bulldogs are out?
It's because we're really terrible. But
okay. Right.
Also it's because our quarterback from last year that just graduated is now the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, and his name is Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, and Dak Prescott is doing very well. So I've been smoking my pipe a lot recently, and pulling for a team that I never thought I would pull for. And damn that kid for for making me pull for them. But I'm sure all of our Cowboys fans
heated language for the
yeah, I know,
podcast.
yeah. So
but
yeah,
football.
man, things are good. It's NFL and college football season, and a lot of folks coming in and enjoying their pipes and cigars along with that, and it's been a lot of fun.
Well, good, man. I'm glad that you're enjoying, even if you are pulling for another team, that you're enjoying the experience. I, of course, care nothing for football. I really wish I did. I think every single time this year I do wish that I cared a little bit for football, but I just do not.
Well, you know, it's really difficult when you don't have a good view of home plate, you know, during it. And
see, that's the thing. If they get the ball in the basket, I know that means they make a home run.
Right.
And then the other team, they can actually, now their fighting is allowed, but only if it happens
around the puck.
Right.
That's right.
And the puck goes across the field line, and they make
the field line.
They make a touch goal.
That's right.
That's right. Go sports team! All right. Well, good, man. Hey, besides the wonderful competitive world of football, we've got a lot of great stuff that's been going on. You know, the big thing that is coming up really, really quick
next weekend, maybe
this freaking weekend. Yeah. Country Squire Radio live from New Orleans.
Oh man, it's really exciting, dude. It's here. It's upon us.
It's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm trying to go down a day early. I have yet to get my train ticket nor my bed.
I was about to ask how that was going.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I know people down there. They'll take. Those are my people, man. They'll take care of me. It's all right.
And by that, Bo's gonna be like, can you move over and get a little closer to the dumpster so I can sleep?
Now Airbnb. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what you got to do, man. Plus, I think I could probably dance my way down in the French Quarter and make a. Yeah. You know,
it's gonna be great.
When I was a child, I wanted to be a street performer in New Orleans. As funny and or sad as that sounds, but and to some extent, that's exactly what we'll be doing, man. We will actually be in the cigar factory on Decatur Street, which is open up to the streets.
You've arrived. Bo.
I'm telling you, man, it's going to be a blast.
We'll put out one of those hats. Maybe you could paint your face like silver or whatever those little mannequin people do.
You could be bronze and I could be silver, and it'll be wonderful.
That's terrifying.
It'll be
yeah. So live from the cigar factory. What time we will be at the cigar factory?
Yeah, that's right. We will actually be at the cigar factory 4 p.m. Don't be late. In fact, to be a couple minutes early. Pick up some cigars from the great people there. They are being so kind to let us record and broadcast from that locale. Hopefully, we will also be literally broadcasting from the website.
Yeah.
Can't guarantee that, but we are hoping that everything goes smoothly there. With as fickle as all broadcasting has been over the last couple of weeks, I promise nothing. I promise nothing.
I was wondering where you're going with it. After the word promise, I was expecting something, and you offered nothing. And that was probably the most responsible thing you could have done.
I think that, setting expectations, I'm big on that, and that's what I want to do for you. And here's the thing. If you are coming, expect to have a good time. We're going to go. We're going to have a show there. We're going to go and walk the French Quarter. I'm going to take you to Frenchmen. We're going to go out to dinner. It's going to be a blast. So you're not going to want to miss it. And again, that is coming up this Saturday, October 22nd.
2016
from the Cigar Factory. That's 415 Decatur. Be sure follow us on Facebook and Twitter for more details as we get closer to the date. Man, so we've got that is coming up. Now, things that have recently transpired here.
There's been a lot going on around Ye Olde Pipe Shop.
Yeah, man. Yeah. In fact, you've got an event that occurred, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. Actually, a lot more later this episode.
Yeah.
But I had originally said I was not going to be here this coming weekend.
Yeah, it was a pleasant surprise. You actually were able to get here.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, so I had a wedding that was in Baton Rouge. It was a lot of fun. It was my cousin who's getting married. It was one of the most beautiful weddings, one of the most amazing rehearsal dinners I've ever been to in my entire life. there was this really special moment where the groom recited the words that his father would always say to him whenever he, like right before bed every single night.
Wow.
And I mean, the father stood up, like he made the father do it there, and the father started crying.
He's weeping, yeah.
Just a really beautiful moment. And on top of that, at the rehearsal dinner, they threw a birthday party for his grandmother, whose birthday was also that night. It was incredible. Plus, on top of that, it was a 5-course meal with one of the best steaks I've ever had in my entire life. It's top notch.
And because it was in South Louisiana, there wasn't any alcohol at all.
Oh no, it was just overflowing, man.
Totally dry.
Yeah. There was, we didn't have to, Jesus didn't have to turn any water into wine in this one. We had plenty of wine.
There was plenty.
There was plenty of wine. But man, it was a beautiful rehearsal dinner. But here's the thing. So it was very a heavy trip for us because my grandparents, who've lived in Baton Rouge for their entire lives, they've had this huge house that they built after our family joined another family. We had kind of a Brady Brunch situation when my mom was a teenager. This large Catholic family. Her dad married a widow of a large Catholic family, and so we had this massive Catholic family.
Yeah.
And so they built this house that has been in the family for years. It's the most consistent location that's ever been in my life, and they had to move out because my grandfather's getting older, and my grandmother needs kind of a smaller space, and so this was the last time that we were all in that house. And so I was walking through. This is going somewhere. I was walking through the house, and just kind of remembering all these old memories and everything else. And we were kind of talking about it, and everybody's like piecing up in their head, like, well, maybe we could keep it and turn it into an Airbnb, and do this and that, and well, you'd have to take this and turn this room into a bathroom. We opened up this closet because we were all debating on like what to do with the space.
Yeah.
We open this closet, and I mean, it's just stuff just like falls out, right? Just all over the place. I found this, I think it's called an Underwood typewriter.
Okay.
Like old school typewriter.
Old typewriter.
Yeah, with like metallic pieces and everything that you
kind of at the end of the line, you went like, you hit the thing and it went ding.
It was my grandmother's mother's typewriter. So my great-grandmother.
Ancient.
Yeah. It was her typewriter. Apparently she was writing a story on it, and they're hoping they're actually going to find the
actual pages. Yeah.
But I mean,
what a treasure, man.
It's a great thing. And here's the deal. So we got it. My grandmother gave it to us. I brought it home, and I've been working on getting it back in working order, and kind of scrubbing it and cleaning it up. Here's why I'm bringing it up on the show. I really want to get this thing like working really, really well.
Tip top.
To give back to her as a like a housewarming gift to her new house.
Yeah.
It's been a huge emotional process for her.
Yeah.
And so I figured, if anybody out there knows anything about typewriter repair, it would be a listener of Country Squire Radio.
That's fair. That is fair.
So I'm putting that out there. If you know anything, if you could just like
typewriter repair.
If you could like get in touch with me, write into the show, like all I want is just you to walk through some things with me to help me figure this out. I've been trying to YouTube it, but like this is such a unique device that like it's not like there's tons of YouTube videos on it.
You know what? If there is a typewriter repair aficionado listening to this episode on the podcast, if you were able to get in touch with Bo and help him with this, I will send you a free 2 ounces of Country Squire pipe tobacco.
Oh, dude. Oh man, thank you.
Shipping included, everything. Like we need to get this baby fixed.
Yeah, I really want to do this for my grand. Thank you so much for offering that. That's incredible. But anyway, so I wanted to put that out there to see if we could get some help.
You're right though. Someone's listening and they're like, "Oh, I repair typewriters and unicycles and fountain pens and man."
It would be a listener to
No, it'd
Country
be a
Squire
listener.
Radio.
It'd be one of us.
Exactly.
Right. It's probably Briar. He's sitting right over there.
Man, we've got a full house tonight here.
This is great.
Yeah. So we've got some great stuff to discuss. We actually have some listeners who are actually present in the room who will be joining us on mic here very shortly.
Yeah.
To talk about what our primary subject is. I should ask, any other events kind of coming up that you want to mention before we dive into this?
Man, not currently. We're kind of getting through we had our long smoke competition this past weekend, and that obviously was a real pivotal thing for us. Now it's just kind of getting geared up for the Christmas season and Thanksgiving and all that kind of stuff. So I'll be trying to take plenty of vitamins and hydrate well enough before Black Friday and all that kind of stuff. So we're in the home stretch of the rest of the year here. So it's a fun time.
Man, yeah. Look, this was this past weekend, as you mentioned, was the long smoke competition, and it is going very heavily into kind of the inspiration for what this episode is going to be. For me personally, this was a very special long smoke competition because, as longtime listeners may recall, 2 years ago. It was the first time, correct me if I'm wrong, but the first time that you actually did a long smoke.
First time we ever did a long smoke at the Country Squire 2 years ago. That's right. I think we had about 30 people here that evening, and the times were overall very, very good.
Well, overall,
except for you.
Well, yeah. So I went out in under 10 minutes.
You went out in under 5 minutes.
That is accurate.
You went out in not quite just over 4 minutes.
All right, it became
just over 4 minutes.
It was very embarrassing for a lot of reasons.
No, it was a thing.
One of which was it was like you say about 4 minutes, not quite that.
Right.
On top of that, it was me, so it was like this guy who's on this podcast about pipe tobacco. And then we talked about it on the show, which became this national joke. So that, when we actually did a cross pipe club long smoke competition.
That's right.
Everybody was like, all right, where's Bo? Let's make fun of Bo right now.
No, we got to. And the beautiful thing about this, and I want to just, point this out to honor you. You beat me in your next.
In the second one.
And you vanquished me.
I
so
did.
you kind of, the next go around you did. So, and I think in the next one when we had the New Orleans Pipe Club, compete against the Magnolia Pipe Club here in Mississippi, I think you'd gotten to maybe 25 minutes, something like that. It was between 20 and 25 minutes.
Well, I don't even know.
I don't even think I made it to 20 minutes.
No, you made it around 15 minutes.
It was the wind, and I didn't care for the tobacco.
Look, that's what everybody said.
I didn't have the tamp I normally use and all that.
Sure. Look, I know you got a safe face. There's nothing wrong with that. But no, it was. I know that you didn't do even that well because in the New Orleans long smoke, I came in at 18 minutes and I beat you by quite a bit.
Really? Yeah. Oh, okay. So you actually remember the times.
Yeah.
I thought that you were over 20.
Well, no. So this is the thing. New Orleans, I came in at 18. The next year, which was last year at Country Squire, we did a Periscope, and I came in at just over 20 minutes. This weekend, I made it back in time. Sat down. We did a live.
Yeah.
Facebook Live video, which is now on YouTube, by the way. If those of you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, you can actually look in the videos. You'll see it.
That was cool.
Where you're actually able to sit there with me, somewhat after I've been having some beverages. So if you want to see Bo after whiskey, that's what you want to do.
If you're a regular viewer or listener, you've already seen.
No, you've already seen it. Of course you have. Yeah, absolutely. But this is the thing, man. So I had a goal, which was to make it over 30 minutes. I made it over 30 minutes. I was quite proud of myself.
You nailed it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And
good,
can I tell you why I was able to do that?
Why?
You may think it's the whiskey.
What was it about, Bo?
No. It was before the whiskey. I had something else that empowered me.
And it had caffeine, didn't it?
Oh, it had caffeine.
It was loaded with caffeine.
I had some bean fruit coffee.
It was delicious. And
Man.
It was artisan roasted right here in Central Mississippi.
Absolutely.
Our friends at Bean Fruit Coffee, obviously great sponsors of the show, and we really encourage you to get on their website. You can use the code CSR, order a bag of Bean Fruit Coffee. It helps the show, but it also gets you 5% off.
Absolutely. Some of the best coffee out there. It'll empower you. So next time you've got a long smoke competition that you want to get ready for, make sure you're awake for the hours upon hours that you'll be putting in for that slow smoke competition. Check them out, beanfruit.com. Again, that code CSR for 5% off. You're definitely going to want to check it out. But yeah, man, so I did pretty well, but ultimately...
You did well, yeah. I was actually going to get our... official thing. You actually made it. Wow, Bo, you aren't kidding. You made it to 30 minutes and 28 seconds.
Just barely over 30 minutes.
Yeah, but that's great, man. That you did really well. It's funny. I have the ability as the person that puts on the long smoke and that has to walk around judging it, making sure people aren't cheating and all that kind of stuff. Not that any of our pipe smokers would, but I have the luxury of being able to make fun of everyone and not compete. And so I think when we did well, we'll talk about this more later, but I can dish it out, but I don't have to take it.
Right. No, that's fair. That's fair. You can always kind of hang above everybody else without ever having to get your hands dirty.
Yeah.
So you have never competed in a long smoke competition,
except the one in New Orleans where you beat me.
Well, right, but you've never legitimately competed.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Except
for that one.
Except for the one
where I beat you.
Where you beat the one where you beat me.
I was at pipe.
You had a better result than I did.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Just okay, good. Just so we are absolutely clear on that.
Yep.
The only time you've ever competed, I beat you.
But
so it's really good that as we talk about tonight's topic, which is the long smoke competition.
We're talking about long smoke competitions. Yeah, I thought this would be fun.
Yeah, and the great thing is we typically, whenever we're talking about something, dealing in the pipe world that we need a little extra knowledge on, it's important to have experts join us.
That's right.
And this is going to be kind of an interesting show. We've got a bit of a rotating cast of characters.
That's right.
Who will be joining us on mic here in the next couple of minutes to share some of their experiences with long smoke competitions. But John David, set things up for us a little bit here. What is a long smoke competition?
Yeah, we thought we'd just kind of take a session where we talked about this because we had so many people actually write in that were unfamiliar with this concept of, okay, you get a bunch of pipe smokers together and you see how long you can keep your pipe lit. And a lot of folks just, weren't really familiar with that or didn't understand it fully. And so we thought we'd just kind of unpack it, the fun of it and the strategy behind it and all those kind of things. There's a lot of material there. And it's probably the most fun event, Bo, that we do every single year.
Oh, I love it, yeah.
It's the time, it's the one night of the year, everyone that smokes a pipe in central Mississippi, they get really excited about and make a pilgrimage to the shop. We actually had 2 listeners, Mark VV, who's listening live tonight, drove up all the way from New Orleans.
Yeah.
And then we had Chase Abels come all the way from Lafayette.
Yeah, man.
All the way from Lafayette, Louisiana. That was so exciting, man, that he drove like 4 hours just to come to this event. Competed, won a door prize. He actually won a rocks pipe, which was really cool. And then turned around and drove home. So, it was really a lot of fun. And, but we thought we'd kind of talk about the idea of the long smoke competition and the idea here is, you could maybe strategize for your next time, but also if you wanted to, host your own.
Yeah, and I think that's crucial. A lot of people, as I was doing the live stream, were commenting on the Facebook comments and saying, like, man, I wish I had a shop like Country Squire. I would love to do something like this. I wish that this kind of event, especially as I switched the camera around and kind of panned around the shop to show people competing and everything, the camaraderie was there.
Yeah.
Like there's something special when everybody gets together for any reason around the pipe, but especially for something like this.
Especially for this.
A lot of people want to be a part of.
Yeah, it's really cool. Now, I will say we did have a few folks that were terrified to come. They were terrified to come because they were afraid that they might be the next Bo York.
You mean and beat you?
Because
I don't know if we established that.
No, you're right. No,
but the only time that you've ever competed, I beat you.
Remember that first time that you ever competed?
Nope.
But we did. We had folks that were a little bashful, afraid to come. And so typically leading up to the long smoke competition, folks will come by and actually, get the tobacco that we're going to compete with and have me weigh out the proper amount and all this stuff. And so they'll start practicing, which is a lot of fun. But basically, let's step back and kind of take a 30,000-foot view of what this is and just, kind of the idea. This has been going on for quite a while. There's pipe clubs, of course, all across the world. And as pipe enthusiasm has increased, we've seen an increased activity in this kind of thing, just, trying to promote the hobby and the craft of it. It's one more excuse for pipe smokers to get together, enjoy our, fellow, just excitement around the pipe and, increase those bonds that we already have and also drink beer and whiskey, which is great.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a really good time. But anyway, the idea is everyone that enters the competition, and this is on average how I've seen this happen, is you all get 3 grams of pipe tobacco. So 3 grams. And so before the actual event, I weighed out a bunch of 3-gram sizes of pipe tobacco. And this year we competed with Scottish Mixture, the Scottish blend from MacBaron.
It's quite tasty.
It's a very good tobacco. I've always said, and I really do believe this, but MacBaron and McClelland, they are the kings of Virginia to me.
Yeah.
They just do Virginia's right. They just do. And so, and they do, particularly MacBaron does flake tobaccos right, but there's something about that Scottish mixture. A lot of folks refer to it as an aromatic. I would never call it an aromatic. It's just a real clean Virginia burley mixture. It's got a bunch of stuff in it, but it's kind of dry, a little ready rubbed, kind of a flaky cut, and it's just a great tobacco for anyone. It's one of those tobaccos that folks would regularly say, like, if I were stuck on a desert island and could smoke one thing the rest of my life, it might be Scottish mixture kind of thing. So it's just that good.
It's high praise.
But anyway, so we everyone got 3 grams of Scottish mixture, and then when you show up to the event, of course, you all get that, and then we got 5 minutes to load and pack our pipes,
which seems like a lot.
Which seems like a lot, but I'm actually excited about talking to a couple of our guests in a minute, because some of that has some strategy that goes into it. Even that part about getting the tobacco into the pipe in the way that it will best keep it lit the longest. And then, of course, everyone, when the time is called, everyone strikes their match at the exact same time. You've got 1 minute to strike both your matches. You get 2 matches, only 2 regular size diamond matches that come in a little box, and that's it. And so it was cool, because we had folks that before the competition, we give them the opportunity to inspect their matches and kind of if they think maybe their match doesn't have enough sulfur on the tip or something, so we had people trade matches in and make sure they got the right one. And
I mean, you're talking some serious competitors. When you start trading in over the amount of sulfur that's on the match.
No, we're starting steely-eyed pipe smokers.
No, right on. Yeah,
no, that's it. So I mean, these people wanted to win. And cutthroat, baby, cutthroat.
Well, look, man, you mentioned kind of the strategy that's in it, and we're about to invite our first guest on to kind of talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah.
I got to make mention, of course, a lot when I was getting prepared, I was thinking about which pipe I wanted to bring.
That's right.
We talked actually in our tiny pipe episode about how, some people believe that a smaller bowl is a bigger advantage in this. I actually ended up going with a beautiful JD smoking pipe that was just absolutely gorgeous, and I went for more of style over anything else, but a solid pipe. Like I said, best time I ever did on it.
And you did well, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. One pipe smoker in the competition in particular, unfortunately, she selected a pipe, and I this is crazy. It caught on fire.
The pipe.
She was smoking
stress on the pipe, right?
Look, man, and I understand. I was smoking mine pretty hot. My bowl was getting on up there. You know what I mean? You get a little nervous. We're not naming names. Why are you checking the thing? Oh, you see?
No, I just want to see what time she got to.
What time did she get to?
So she made it to 28 minutes, 49 seconds.
Okay.
So we're not even talking like, her pipe, went to an hour or whatever. But at the same time, you're very, you got to think about how much you're trying to puff your pipe to keep it lit. And you're very intentionally keeping that fire stoked up. And
she should have gotten a mulligan, man.
And she set her pipe on fire.
She set it on fire, and that's the thing. So the pipe literally burst into flames in the middle of the long smoke. Now here's the funny thing: the individual that carved that pipe was on scene. And when this individual realized it was one of their pipes that caught on fire, immediately jumped into action and was performing an autopsy.
While still competing.
Actually,
while still competing, by the way.
Yeah,
right.
No names. All the names are being changed or just not mentioned to protect the innocent. But I'm telling you.
Protect the guilty.
It was hilarious.
It was really great. That was great.
But yeah, she definitely deserves a mulligan for that. But I got to tell you, it was a blast. There's
a lot of fun.
In my opinion, nobody throws a party like John David Cole. And let me tell you, the long smoke party we have here is something you want to be a part of.
If it involves tobacco and alcohol and food, it's not really hard to throw a bad party.
Now let's talk some strategy and let's actually bring on our first guest.
Yeah.
Here in studio, as it were, in the shop.
Right.
We actually have a longtime listener, good friend of the show, Russ Hicks.
Russ Hicks, yeah, who we've had on before.
Exactly. We've had Russ on before. We've talked about his artwork actually on several episodes. We're coming up pretty soon here with the Halloween episode, so we'll be referencing some of his art again in the near future here. But Russ is about to join you here on mic and
That's right.
and talk a little bit about some of his experience. So with that, bring on Russ.
Come on, baby. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. You doing okay?
Yeah, man.
Let's,
really good.
Get up close to the mic here. And
Can you hear me?
I think we can.
I guess Bo knows.
We're doing well, Bo?
All right.
Okay, good. Man, Russ, good friend of the show and, of course, native Mississippian. You live in Savannah, Georgia now.
That's right.
And are involved in the aerospace industry, actually. Are you an engineer? Is that right?
That's right.
That's what I thought. Proud graduate of Mississippi State University.
Very proud.
Hail State. Go Dogs. Well, although, like I mentioned earlier, we're focusing less on our team this year and more on the starting quarterback we produced, who is now leading the Dallas Cowboys to an exquisite season.
Oh, amazing!
Right.
Yes. Wish he was back.
Oh no, we wish we still had him. But man, yeah. So what a treat, dude! I found out you were going to be in Jackson this past this past weekend, and I was so excited to be able to get you on. And of course, as Bo and I were kind of talking about the content for tonight's episode, we talked about the long smoke competition and just how much fun it is, and how it gets people really fired up in the pipe community every time they compete in one or participate in one. And I know you and I had talked about that some before too, and so I just thought we'd bring you on. Russ, you obviously have been smoking a pipe for a long time. Grew up here in Jackson, if I'm not mistaken, you're from Clinton originally.
That's
is that right.
I went to high school in Clinton, but
yeah,
I grew up real close to here. Went to elementary school right down the street, down here at Span, and proposed to my wife back behind the country square here many years ago, 20-something years ago.
That is really cool, man. That is really cool. Don't get to make it back to Jackson often, but when you do, it's pretty special. So we're glad to have you, man. Dude, let's talk about pipes. You're one of the most probably meticulous and specific pipe smokers I've ever met in my life, and I mean that in a very beautiful way. It's like.
Well, I appreciate that.
It's kind of like, I just think of like Einstein and with his equations running through his head when he wakes up in the morning, and I just feel like you're like that with pipe tobacco.
Yeah, maybe I read a little too much into it,
No, man, it just makes me really happy to talk to you about our shared hobby. So, but I kind of wanted to talk to you about You've competed in long smoke competitions before, and obviously you've smoked pipes for a long time. You're also a big fan of Virginia tobaccos.
I am.
You and I share that and love that. Also, sometimes like the flake tobacco and
love a flake
and enjoy that.
Some of my favorite.
And I know you also. I don't want to put words in your head, but I mentioned earlier a couple of my favorite Virginia producers, people like McClelland and McBaron. I mean, that's kind of your wheelhouse too, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm McClellan mainly,
For sure, yeah.
But McBaron, I learned to smoke on Virginia No. 1. It's
Is that
the
right?
thing that teaches you, because if you get it too hot, it lets you know.
It lets you know,
so
doesn't it?
It's a great tasting blend. I love them both, but I love Mike and Mary McNeil. So
they're awesome,
and
man.
their blends are they're incredible, and they're unique. So
they are. They put a lot of thought into what they do, and of course, I actually talked to Mary this morning because I had to order tobacco. What other company do you get to order and call, and you get the president of the company right there on the phone? It's pretty
She's
great.
She's a tobacco genius.
It's amazing, isn't it? But man, so kind of, I guess let's start with this. What is your experience with smoking your pipe over a long period of time? You've competed before,
right.
But just talk about that. But then on average, what's the longest you ever were able to keep your pipe lit?
I've probably done an hour and a half. Is probably as much as I've done. But I got it with Virginias. You really don't. You want to keep them cool. You don't want to get them too hot. So that just means that you're smoking them longer, basically, because you're letting them go out maybe, or letting them just barely be lit. So
it's almost this game of chicken, right?
Like you're
almost letting it go out and then bringing it back from the brink constantly.
Right. You're regulating that temperature, and I think y'all had said this about the small pipes. I think they do help you do that. Small pipes are my jam, and when you have really exquisite tobacco, you don't want to waste it. And one good way not to waste it is to put it in a small pipe and get every little nuance out of it.
That's right.
And I think that teaches you how to keep things lit. And lets you know right on where you're on that edge of the cliff where it's going to go out, and where it's where it tastes right. Because I smoke a pipe for taste,
right,
and taste and smell. So I don't care. I'm probably the worst guy to talk about how to keep the pipe lit a long time. But over the years I've learned how to do it. But it's not the way I smoke daily.
Yeah, I remember talking to you just about your kind of palate and the rhythms you go through when you do smoke a pipe, and how fixated you are on the taste, to the point where if you have to throw a little tobacco out, or if you have to let the pipe die, let it sit for 5 minutes and come back to it, whatever it is to get the most flavor, to keep the temperature cool, to keep your senses aware of what's actually being smoked, you're committed to that, which I think is cool.
And keeping your palate moist with some whatever your favorite beverage is. And I gravitate towards water and tea.
Yeah.
because they accentuate, the flavors of Virginia very, very well. But you got to just think about when you're smoking any tobacco and you're trying to keep it going for a long time, your tendency is to get it hot.
Yeah.
You're afraid to let it go out, especially if you're in a competition environment.
Puff it, hot box it, get lots of smoke going just to reassure yourself that you're still lit.
Right. But there are definitely some things that you can do. I think there's a lot of preparation that goes on if you're gonna prepare for a long smoke competition. What I like to do is keep the tobacco. A good way to describe it is homogeneous. I'll take a mixture like a flake, which is compressed, and it's not homogeneous at all, and I'll rub it out and make it into small particles, and carefully lay those particles in the pipe, in the chamber, in the tobacco chamber, and I try to overlap them. So as each one burns, it'll touch the next one and light the next one off, and I'll meticulously go in there and do that. Does it work? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but I know that if I don't do it, it's not going to happen.
That it won't happen at all.
That's right.
And so we're talking about kind of that initial period that you get to load your pipe before the competition begins. You're actually taking the granules of tobacco, particularly, this year we had the Scottish mixture from Mac Baren, and so it's kind of a flaky, chunky tobacco. Maybe not so much as Mac Baren Virginia No. 1, but it certainly got some elements of that. And so you're kind of taking those chunky pieces, pulling them apart, getting them more homogeneous, I think is the word you used, and then loading it very intentionally in the pipe just so that they cross and are able to catch each other on fire consistently. Is that right?
That's what I try to do. I mean, it's just it's basic geometry, right? It's really simple. I don't know that works with every blend. Every blend's different, and I don't know much about Scottish mixture, but I know like with red cake, which I smoke a lot.
Yeah.
If I want to keep it lit, and it's kind of a ribbon, you can lay those ribbons in and really keep them going. And but it's one of those things. It needs to be the right humidity too. Sometimes it's just too wet to keep going, and you'll want to let it dry out. Lay it out on a napkin and just let it sit there for a while.
Yeah.
So there's some of the things you can do to make your time longer.
Yeah, give us some other strategies. I know before we talked about, once you get your pipe lit, what about the lighting process in itself?
Okay, so you definitely want to do a charring light. You want to get the whole tobacco, the top of it, you want to get it flat, and you want to get the whole tobacco surface lit. Now what'll end up happening is you draw in the pipe, you'll typically get the core, the center of the tobacco chamber, and you almost anybody can burn from the top and burn that center core out and not really burn the edges.
Right.
So guys that really win these things burn all the tobacco, the entire chamber. So how do you keep
no flakes, no bits left of tobacco at all?
Exactly, it's dust. You're inhaling dust powder at the end, and you want to keep it dry. Definitely, you want to keep moisture out of it. So if it's really humid out, you want to dry that tobacco down.
Yeah,
if you can. But my trick, and your mileage may vary, but my trick is the tamper. I think the tamper is the key to the long smoke competition. As you'll notice, that's the thing that you get, and you'll never go to a long smoke competition where a tamper isn't available.
It's not available, right?
So I haven't really heard this before, but this is my idea about the tamper, is how do I get the edges of the tobacco lit?
Yeah, because we talked about if you're going to win this thing, the key is to get as much of the tobacco in the chamber to burn as possible. And we all have that inevitable thing where you light it in the middle and the sides of it go out. But you're saying you can kind of get around that or work through that with your tamper.
Right. So to explain that further, maybe the physics behind, well, I don't know if I should say physics, but the mechanics of what's going on behind it. What I do, if you imagine a water hose. You put your finger over the water hose, what happens? The water comes out faster, right?
Yeah, it sprays around the edges and comes out a lot quicker.
Right. So if you put your tamper in, and what you want to do is pick a tamper that's about, covers about 75% of the area of the surface area of the tobacco chamber. You put it in exactly the center and don't press down, but just touch it on the surface and then draw. And what that'll do is it'll force all the air around the outside. And because you've changed the area that it has to pass through, you've increased the speed of the air over the outside, just around that outer circle. And what that does is like stoking the fire.
Okay.
So it'll pull those embers outboard. And
now that's interesting. So what we're saying is you take the tamper, and I'm assuming you want it to be a round tamper, something that's going to match the shape of the bowl, but in the very center of it. And as you lay the tamper on top of the tobacco in the middle, it forces the air you're pulling through the chamber around to those to the edges to where the tobacco is harder to get lit.
That's right. So you're basically just really getting a lot more velocity, more oxygen out there towards the edges. And
precise. I love this.
Well, I love the idea of you're not supposed to put the tamper in the pipe when it's not in your mouth. That's in the rules. So you can't. Because you can chase an ember around with a tamper if you're like, digging in it and looking in it and tamping it while it's not in your mouth. But that's against the rules. So what you do is you look at where you need to go, put it in your mouth, and then you kind of chase it that way. Is one thing that I've done. But yeah, just to try to if it starts to collect on one side, what you do is you move over where the hot spot is, and then just let it light the rest of the area. So I don't know. That's a tidbit. Maybe somebody will find that useful.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, man, that's good. I think everyone's kind of got their magic formula for it. But if you're going to keep your pipe lit for over an hour, and certainly an hour and a half, you've got to have some kind of strategy to get there. And I think all those things kind of work together. So that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Dude, man, thanks for coming on. This was great. Like you just surprised us by being able to come into town on such short notice. Everything in Savannah going okay?
Yeah, everything's good. About to head over to Europe for a 2-month trip, and
good for you, man.
Be back for around Christmas time. So decided to take a little vacation beforehand.
Good, man. Well, that's wonderful, dude. Thanks so much for coming on. All right.
Yeah. Great to be here.
See you, brother.
All right. Excuse me. Man, great having Russ on the show.
I always love talking to Russ, man. He's such an encouragement to me, and just a good friend, and obviously really knowledgeable about pipe smoking in general. So we can always nerd out together.
Now, our next guest is extremely appropriate as an expert to talk to you.
That's right.
Because we are actually about to have on the show with us the gold medalist,
That's right, the champion,
right, of the local long smoke competition. And given that you have never really competed except for that one time where I destroyed you, it's really good. I mean, like I don't feel like I can talk to you as someone who's like a champion because I haven't actually won anything. I mean, I beat you, but I haven't really won. So having the Magnolia Pipe Club champion join us here, Jack, come on up to the mic here, and
come on up, Jack.
We'll have you on right here.
Hello.
Dude, Jack Harper, welcome to Country Squire Radio.
Thank you very much.
Man.
And especially want to thank you for my new Ardor pipe.
Man, that's great. That's great. So we were excited to have you, of course, at the long smoke competition. What's funny, we pick on you, or at least give you a hard time because you're kind of more of a cigar smoker than a pipe smoker, but you smoke both. But we tend to lean more towards a cigar. But you're so meticulous when you enter competitions like this. You just go all in, and I think you did a lot of preparation for this. So, man, congratulations! You won the long smoke competition here, and you got an hour and 18 minutes and 30 seconds. That's crazy.
I think it's interesting that the last guest on here was an engineer, or is an engineer, and that I'm an accountant. And I guess there's something to be said for the meticulous nature that can go along with being involved in a long smoke. Because you probably noticed that I was pretty nervous when I arrived here. And as a matter of fact, I wanted to find out what kind of matches we're going to be using. And
I think
and if the air conditioner was going to be turned on. And
that's
blowing,
right.
While I was trying to light my pipe and all that kind of stuff.
You were very concerned. Matter of fact, you were one of the people that turned in a match because you were you were skeptical about the structure of maybe the head of the match. And so and of course I was lamenting the fact that I gave you that option when you came in. So
I wanted to make sure there was some wood on that baby.
That's right, man. You nailed it, dude. It was great. So you won the competition. You got an hour and 18 minutes, which is great. What was funny is you actually beat the closest competitor by over 20 minutes, which I thought was really interesting. Why do you think that was? Is there what did you do that kind of gave you that last push there?
I actually thought I flamed out about 10 minutes before it actually did finish, and I just kept making sure that I had some air coming over it, and the whole thing just came back to life. But I came in the shop 2 days before the competition, and I used the exact same amount of tobacco and a time trial. And, to be quite honest, the purpose of that test there was to find out, was it a fluke when I came in here 3 years ago and came in second place or not? To be quite honest with you, I wanted to find that out. And when I did the time trial, if you were here, and I flamed out right at about an hour.
Yeah.
And so I figured, that gave me the confidence to realize that, hey, maybe I can be a true contender for this contest.
So the practicing was kind of a mental preparation for
right.
it.
And so at that point, my goal was just to see, well, can I improve on that? What have I got to do? And so mostly really all I did was I tried to use very conservative draws on the pipe just to make sure I had some air going across those embers. And then I agree with Russ, tamping I think is a huge part of the process. And just to make sure you don't have any little pockets in there where the embers aren't going to be able to cross-pollinate, so to speak, and I concentrate a lot when I'm doing this. I try to make sure, but
you were zoned in, dude.
If you get distracted in the long smoke and you forget about what you're trying to do, you just might flame out a little bit earlier than you'd hope to. So
just want to let everyone know about with maybe 20 minutes left in the competition, maybe a little more than that, maybe 30 minutes. Your wife showed up.
She did.
So you actually called in the cavalry.
I did. I told her to wait until 30 minutes into the competition and then come.
And it was great, dude. She was really pulling for you. She's typically pretty reserved, but it was awesome because she was going around checking to make sure, is Jack, is he still in the hunt? And she was looking at the times, making sure you're still up there at the top. And man, that was pretty great. So
no, it was great. It was a little intense for me there, but it was great. It was fun at the same time, and I think that's what made the whole event a whole lot of fun for everybody.
Now, did you have any kind of particular method to load your pipe with the tobacco, or did you just kind of do it how you normally do, just kind of shove it in there, or what was your idea there?
When Caleb mixed me some 3-gram packs several days before the event, I asked him what he did, and he said that he crumbled his up.
Yeah, because Caleb won last year, actually.
And I decided not to do that because when I did my little test run on Thursday before, I didn't do it, and it worked. I lasted at least an hour, so I decided not to mess with something that seemed to be working. And I just made sure the tobacco was piped reasonably firm all the way down, put a little bit in at a time, and not a whole lot else other than that.
Yeah, just kind of keep gradual puffs, kind of keeping that the airflow low but steady, rhythmic, I guess, and keeping it there. It's crazy. Did you have any tobacco left in your bowl when you got done?
I didn't think there was going to be anything left after an hour and 18 minutes, but when we cleaned out my pipe, there was a pretty good clump in the bottom of it, and I still am not sure exactly how that happened, but it was amazing that there was a little bit left. When I did my test run on Thursday, there was, as you saw,
powder.
There was nothing but powder. I mean, that's what I was expecting to see, but I think the reason that I lasted as long as I did is because I did not over puff a whole lot.
Yeah.
And I tried to just keep it lit barely, and when it really got to burning really well, I would let it chill out a little bit.
Kind of let it die off some.
Yeah. So pretty much kind of like what Russ was saying.
I thought that was so funny. You mentioned earlier about 10 minutes before the end of the competition, before you went out. We all were sitting there staring at you, of course, like idiots, just waiting for you to go out. We were all excited, but we were we thought your pipe was going out. You know, it was like at least 10 minutes before you
I thought I was
went
done.
out. And man, I mean, it was just and somehow, like, I mean, the puffs. I was watching your mouth so closely to make sure there was still some smoke coming out, and it's just small little wispy bits of smoke, and then somehow, you know, that it just came back from the brink.
It was like a 45-second Lazarus effect there for a minute, and
that's great.
So, yeah.
That was great. But man, you pulled it out and got another doggone 10 minutes out of it, which was really cool. So, well, dude, congratulations! We had 3 pipes there that the winners could pick. Typically, how we do it at the Squire is we have 3 winner pipes, and the person that gets the best time can pick theirs. Out of the 3, the second place person can pick the one they want, and then the third place person can pick whichever one is, gets whichever one is left. But you picked what? Tell us about the pipe you picked.
Well, I picked the Ardor. My family has Italian roots, and I just couldn't resist picking a fine piece of Italian workmanship. And I also have always wanted a pipe that has a lot of mass to it, that you can sit down outside and really feel like you've got a firm hold on a nice piece of briar.
Big chunky pipe, yeah.
So, and it's a beautiful pipe. I mean, everything about it's got tons of detail work in it. And when I got home Saturday night, I enjoyed reading about the history of the company. That's cool. And so I just really thank you for this, and I'm going to treasure this for a very long time.
That's awesome. So. If you compete again next year, there will be people that will try to sabotage whatever pipe that you, whatever pipe you bring. But I do want to thank Steve Monjour with Monjour International for donating that pipe to our pipe night. Steve and the folks at Ardor and all the other brands he represents, like Brebbia and Ronaldo, they're just really good people and are really passionate about encouraging events like that. So anyway, we appreciate you, Steve, and really encourage y'all to buy an Ardor pipe if you want something that'll last a lifetime. It's truly an heirloom piece. I think that pipe retails for around $400. So a really great piece. But, dude, congratulations. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, thank you very much. I had a great time.
Yeah, man.
Super event.
Good deal, man.
Thank you.
So while y'all were having that chat, and by the way, congratulations yet again, Jack. That's awesome. One day I'll get to an hour, but I'm just doing it 10 minutes at a time. That's how I do it. While y'all were having that chat,
2024, you'll get there.
I got a tweet in actually from JPB, or actually it was a comment on the live feed, advising that I contact Tom Hanks about my typewriter. So I just tweeted Tom Hanks.
So you tweeted Tom Hanks?
Yep. I tweeted him.
Hey, remind Tom that he gets 2 free ounces of Country Squire.
Yeah. I'll
if he helps with it.
Is he a pipe smoker?
I don't think so. But that's going to be the thing that gets you over the hump. He's going to.
That's true. Yeah. I said, at Tom Hanks, I found my great grandmother's typewriter and would like to have it restored as a gift for my grandmother. Can you recommend anyone? I would have said please, but there wasn't enough room.
You didn't have enough digits left.
Yeah, so there you go. Head over to Twitter and retweet that tweet to Tom Hanks for me, and I'll follow back up and make sure he knows about the Country Squire Radio tobacco as well. That'll be the thing. Ben, wow! Look, long smoke competition. It's a lot of fun. If you got one in your local community, you need to make sure that you're showing up for it.
Well, and the great thing is, if you know more than 2 or 3 pipe smokers in your area, you can do this yourself, right?
Exactly.
So I mean, you just do it yourself. Make it a yearly tradition. You and your buddies, you get together one night a year, one night every few months, and do this. It's a fun event. You kind of build some camaraderie. The competition's great, but you also get the opportunity to get some digs in when people go out and all that kind of stuff. So it's really always a lot of fun. So.
It's great about building community, man. And, here on Country Squire Radio, we're all about building community.
We are.
One of the things that if you've been tuning in for any stretch of time is that around this time, we talk about a certain pipe sponsoring the show from the good folks over at Missouri Meerschaum.
That's right.
And you know what? I'm going to change things up a little bit. I hope that's okay. Normally, we've got a pipe that sponsors the episode. We have it pre-planned. We talk about it before the show. It is the pipe. But since we are about community here, I'm actually going to change it up. The pipe that actually is sponsoring this show is specifically the Missouri Pride. Now, the reason why this is the pipe that I'm selecting as kind of featured on this particular episode is actually because right now, Fletch on Twitter, who is at the Mango Times. He's tweeting in. He's watching right now. He took a picture of his screen, as I know a lot of you guys like to do sometimes while you're tuning in for the live show. You take a picture of the screen now, and also showing us what you're smoking. And right now, that is exactly the pipe that he's smoking. So I like the idea that not only can we give a shout out to the Mango Times during this wonderful time in the episode, but we can also reference the good folks at Missouri Meerschaum, and specifically their pipe that is being smoked right now.
That's pretty great. That's pretty great.
Head over to Twitter, follow at the Mango Times, and we're going to let you, Fletch, you tweet right now and let people know how you're enjoying that pipe from the good folks at Missouri Meerschaum. Kind of a twist right there, isn't it?
Kind of a twist. One thing I want to add to that, Phil Morgan, our good friend and president of Missouri Meerschaum, today's his birthday.
Happy birthday. Can we sing happy birthday?
I'm not singing. You can sing.
That, no, probably.
But
he's the president. He's the president of Missouri Meerschaum?
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Mr. President. Wait. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's going to be really inappropriate.
Yeah, you're not going to. Don't try to channel your inner Marilyn Monroe.
No. But we do wish you a very, very happy birthday, Phil. Man, that's awesome.
Good friend of the show. He's done incredible things with that brand and has really brought it back to national prominence that we're so thankful for, and look forward to continue work with him.
Yeah, so be sure. You know what? The best way to send him a happy birthday, aside from just tweeting them directly, letting them know, go ahead when you tweet him a happy birthday. Do it while you're smoking a Missouri Meerschaum pipe. Let him know you heard about it on Country Squire Radio. And not only is that a great birthday present for him, it also shows some love for the show as well. And thanks them for helping support this show and making it happen.
Yep.
All right, man, we got a pipe question this week that is right up your alley.
Man, this is great. I'm excited about this question.
Comes in from Eric Rise, or Reese. I can never pronounce that last name, so forgive me, Eric. Great question. Here it comes. So I have recently been getting into Virginia tobaccos, but my palate is not attuned to the subtle differences between the different types. Bright leaf, red, orange, stoved baked, etc. Research has shown that applying a word to describe a sensory experience can help with differentiating those experiences in the future. What would you, John David specifically, use to describe your experiences with different types of Virginias?
It's so interesting to me. This is a great question. It even exercises me some as a tobacconist, someone that has to regularly look at people and try to help them figure out the difference. They walk into a shop like the Squire and they see this wall of tobaccos and it's kind of intimidating, and they're like, well, what's the difference? And here we go. Well, this one tastes like nougat and this one tastes like, well, what does a nougat taste like? On and on. But, so there's a lot of fun in this. Obviously, we have some, everyone's got their own palate and their own experiences, but there's so many different Virginias out there, and I think, it is a good exercise to dive into kind of what each one is like. So I'll just mention a few words that come to mind with each of these different ones, and things that you've mentioned here before. We've got bright leaf, red, orange, stoved black, and then you mentioned red Cavendish as well. I wouldn't really throw that in the same category as just as a traditional Virginia tobacco. But let's talk on average kind of. We'll separate this into three kind of real broad brushstroke groups that I typically like to explain this in. We've got the red Virginias on one side, the stoved black Virginias, and then the brighter colored leaves that include yellow and orange Virginias, those ribbons that we all kind of look at and are immediately like, oh, that's a Virginia tobacco. And so if I kind of separate it into those three broad brushstroke categories, it tends to help me. With the bright leaves, there's a spectrum there. Obviously, with some of them you're going to get more grassy tones. With hay-like tones. Think about walking, if you're from the country or have ever spent time in the country, walking in like a freshly cut meadow or maybe a pasture or something like that. Mm-hmm. The kind of smell you might get, next to a country pond or something. There's an element of vegetation there that I think is just very nuanced. It's real specific, but that hay-like meadow flavor, it really comes through in the Bo, are you having a moment?
I'm sorry, yeah. Channeling Lassie. I was trying to channel Lassie.
Oh no, that's good. That's good. We love Lassie.
Oh yeah.
So and with those brighter color leaves, you typically will have some of that. You'll also occasionally get things like citrus flavors, and so you've got. The bright leaves will evoke things like orange and sometimes even lemon. There's a sugar content there that I think is kind of brings it into that realm. With brighter Virginias, you've got those sugars that can give you the sweeter flavors, which I think are a lot of fun to play with. When you're blending tobacco. So that's kind of the bright lighter colored leaf side. And it's funny, you'll look at two bright Virginia leaves and they look almost identical if you're just sitting there looking at them. But one will lean real heavy towards the pasture side, almost like oats, or it smells almost like something you'd feed a horse or something. Just real hay-like. And then the other leaf that looks identical is going to just scream tangerine. So it's funny, but you get these these different elements there. Both will tend to smoke similarly, I think, as far as the characteristics of the actual smoke, but the flavors are going to be different, even though they look a lot alike.
All right, man.
That's bright Virginias. We've got obviously red Virginias, which tend to be, and this is where I think McClelland really excels. Of course, they're probably best-selling Virginias. Number 5100, they're Red Cake Virginia, and as using that and other tobaccos that kind of feature that red Virginia flavor, these are going to be richer tobaccos. Think of something that's more velvety, something that is a richer flavor that has a little more body to it, not as citrusy. We're backing off some of the high notes of citrus and sugar, and we're coming down more to kind of you could even think of almost like working towards a cocoa or a chocolatey flavor. Maybe not quite that far, but something that is going to have more depth to it. There's a richness there, which I think is really fun. And I love to blend with red Virginias because they give so much body to a tobacco. There's that velvety kind of cream. It's a creamy sense, I think, that goes into that is just really satisfying and goes well with a lot of different tobaccos. So, and then kind of bringing it around with the black stove Virginias. Stove Virginias, these are literally Virginias that have been cooked, and they have a tendency to taste caramelized. And people, if you listen too fast, you're thinking caramel. I'm not talking about caramel. I'm talking about caramelized. Think of a caramelized onion or something that is has almost been heated in a cast iron skillet to the point where the sugars kind of form a layer on the outside, and so it just provides this real kind of sweet and smoky flavor that's just a little charred, which I think is a lot of fun. So with stove Virginias, I get oak, charred barrels, campfire. We're kind of in some sense, if a Virginia when it grew up wanted to think about being a Latakia, not nearly like that, but it kind of we're thinking something that's undergone a lot of heat. And so, just has just a little more of a rich, smoky flavor to it. Not in the same way a red Virginia does, but just something that that caramelization process that it undergoes is just makes those sugars really stand out in a unique way. So that's my broad brushstrokes of the Virginias.
And that could be a podcast unto itself.
I've talked your ear off, but anyway, that's kind of where I go to. So personally, as far as smoking goes, I love smoking. The brighter color leaves. I'm just a sucker for them. I love and everyone knows my dog and pony show I always go to, freaking Orlet Golden Slice, Vow and 14. I love these tobaccos that are just real bright Virginias that scream things like citrus and hay, and those grassy flavors just really stand out. But blending, it's a lot of fun to blend with the other two. And anyway, I think you should smoke all of them straight and kind of try those, out on their own, and then start blending them yourself.
Eric, what a great question.
That's a great question.
I'm telling you, there may be. I mean, that's doing some sort of like palette kind of word association. There's either an episode or an entire series there. That's excellent, excellent question, Eric. And hey, if you've got a pipe question of the week, send it in. CSR@podastery.com. Quick fire questions.
Bring them.
All right. Here we go. These come in from Disturb over at thispipelife.com. Thispipelife.com. We'll talk about them in just a second.
We will. Yep.
It's the forums there. All right, here you go. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Coffee. Come on, man.
Hey, you got. I
this
love
is America.
I love tea. Tea has its place, but I'm a coffee guy.
No, I like tea just fine. I do, and sometimes I'll get on a tea kick if I gotta cut back on the coffee. But tea is almost like I hit the coffee too hard, so now I need to back off, but I don't want to stop drinking. So there's tea.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what tea is. So we're coffee. Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Heavily dependent upon what the actual thing is.
Yeah, but typically. Well, yeah, I mean, that's true. Typically, when I think of this, I think of, like, ice cream. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's kind of where my mind goes to when someone says chocolate or vanilla. But
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you're right, it depends, but I got to go with chocolate.
Yeah, I'll go with chocolate as well. That's about right. Rain or snow?
We're in the South, so snow, but that's only because we get to deal with it once every 3 years.
Specifically where we are in Mississippi, yeah.
If we lived anywhere else, we would be like, rain, any day of the week, rain. Please bring on the rain.
Right. No, man.
I like snow. Snow's fun. When it comes around, we get to, go out and, build our little, tiny snowman that'll melt in 3 hours and all that kind of stuff. It just doesn't get very cold here. But,
no.
So we enjoy the snow when it happens, and all the schools shut down, which is a lot of fun.
Because we don't know how to handle it.
Yeah, because we don't know. Obviously, people lose the ability to drive when it, we have freezing rain or whatever. But
right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with snow.
Yeah, snow is a magical thing for us for all the reasons you just mentioned. I will say, when it comes to like the perfect climate, like temperate zone.
Yeah.
When I was living in Memphis, we would always every single year get one snow. It was deep enough that you could pack it, and like we could get 5, 6, 7 inches of snow or something like that. Which you have to understand, to us that sounds huge. And so like you'd get it for like a day and a half and play with it, but then it would melt the next day. And so it was the perfect amount of time and the perfect amount of snow. So yeah, snow still holds that magical place for me as well. And then finally, hamburger or hot dog?
Hamburger. No question.
Hot dog isn't really even meat.
No, it's meat. It's just kind of like that old knuckle meat.
Ugh. Hamburger all the way.
It's just all the little grizzly stuff that they mop off the floor, we really don't like to think about it because I like a hot dog, but I'm going to go with hamburger.
I know, we're about to eat here in a minute, too. Yeah, hamburger all the way. Congratulations, Disturb. You win quickfire questions because you got us to agree on every single one. Or does that mean he loses?
No, he wins.
He wins. All right, congratulations. You are a winner.
Everyone's a winner at Country Squire Radio.
That's right. And, of course, we know you're a winner because you're part of the great group over at thispipelife.com, an online forum that if you've not done so already, why haven't you done it yet? You need to head over there, thispipelife.com. When you register to join things like the forums, the images, the beautiful experience that they have, be sure to use the code CSR, and that helps out this show. So if you like dealing and meeting and doing all kinds of great stuff with pipe community members from all over the world, you're going to have to check out thispipelife.com.
Such a great community over there. It's one of those places where you can really go for camaraderie, but also as a resource, not only do we get, a lot of our quickfire questions on This Pipe Life, but also, a lot of our pipe questions of the week and stuff like that comes from there as well. So, and if we're not there, there are 10,000 other people waiting to interact with you. So we really encourage you to go visit them.
All right, thispipelife.com. All right, man, we got some great listener feedback in. I think for time, we're just going to do the first two.
Yeah, that'll work.
You want to take the first one?
Yeah. So this comes in from Jonathan Majeris, and he says, so I'm sitting at a doctor's appointment, and I hear the song that you guys have for your opening start playing. I start getting excited like Pavlov's dog, then a crash of disappointment when it's just the song. Boo. Jonathan, thanks, man. That's good. I'm glad we've got you trained to now when you hear those first few notes, you start thinking of our ridiculous shtick.
Yeah, this is an experience that a lot of podcast listeners, especially like people who've been listening to podcasts for some time, they know this because a lot of early podcasts used and are currently using the free, fair use iTunes or GarageBand music that just comes pre-installed.
Yeah, preloaded.
So when I cut together our theme, which is going strong now for 3+ years, it is like it's a combination of sound effects and music from the GarageBand audio archive.
That's hilarious.
And so that could be, you could hear that on a car commercial. You could hear that on your local lawyer commercial or something like that. Or in this instance, in your local bank. So, sorry about that, Jonathan. Yeah, that was not us. They were not playing Country Squire Radio, unfortunately. We also got in from Thomas Golden on Facebook. He said, last night after the opening performance, I should actually give a little bit of context to this.
Okay.
So Thomas is, he's a performer. In fact, he's like a stage performer. He's recently been part of this play. In fact, while we were doing the Long Smoke, he was backstage of the play right before the curtain call and everything else. He was actually streaming me smoking and commenting.
That's awesome.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So he says, last night after the opening performance, we went to a local speakeasy and have a bourbon infused with tinderbox espresso pipe tobacco.
Wow.
Yeah. So, Bo, why haven't you come to hang out in South Dakota yet? Thomas, man, with something that incredibly awesome, it sounds like I got to go to South Dakota just to sample that. Let me see if I'm reading this right. A bourbon infused with tinderbox espresso pipe tobacco.
That's right. So someone took tinderbox's espresso pipe tobacco and infused a bourbon with it.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
I just want to know if he could feel his face when he got done drinking it. Or see colors.
I mean, like,
It sounds amazing.
Look,
but
I've been to some of those cast parties back in the day. I was a theater guy. I know how it gets.
But did you drink pipe tobacco?
I did not. I did not. I don't believe I have any desire to, but let me tell you what I do have a desire to do, and that is to go to New Orleans with you, sir. We are heading there this weekend. Looking forward to meeting several of you and having a good time out in the French Quarter. Again, that's going to come up this October 22nd in Saturday. This Saturday in New Orleans, going to be a blast. Be sure to keep up with us. Now, while we are there, we'll be taking pictures, we'll be tweeting out, doing the Facebook, all that kind of great stuff. So you're going to want to make sure you're keeping in touch with us throughout the week. You can do so, facebook.com/Country Squire Radio, or you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at The Real Bo York.
I'm at John David Cole, or you can get us at the shop at _Country Squire.
Of course, all that information and more can be found at CountrySquireRadio.com. Well, man, this was a fun
Dude,
fun
we had
episode.
fun. Good luck editing this.
Yeah, I know. It's it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun one.
That was great. I'm so glad we got to have Russ in town, man. What a treat having you, brother, come join us. And Jack Harper, as always, we're glad to have you around. I'm we close up the shop on average around 6 o'clock every day here at the Squire, and if the door opens, if I hear the jingle of the door opening at 5:50. There's one person it could be, and that's Jack Harper. And, man, it's just a treat to know you, man. Congrats again on your win.
Getting in that last minute, sir.
That's
absolutely.
It,
well, hey, let's go have a night.
See you, brother.
All right, guys. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to the live show. Y'all are so awesome. Again, for those of you who are here on time and early, I apologize for all the technical difficulties, but at this point, let's just face it, it's just part of the part and parcel for the
we'll
for the
see.
ride.
I mean, we're getting there. We're learning.
Yeah. I'm trying to.
Just pour an extra long drink next time. It'll be fine.
No. Maybe a little of a smaller drink next time. That might have helped. All right, guys. Y'all have a great night.
Good night, y'all.